Hi, so welcome to the last lesson in this module. We'll be talking about for loops and indexes and how they're a part of loops. And in fact, the last type of loops that we'll be covering in terms of loops, you have learned about while loops, forever loops, and now for loops. So in what we're going to do is we're going to create a counter. So every time you press the button A on our microbit, here I'll grab that. Every time you press the button A on the microbit, the number that it counts up to on the screen will increase by 1. And that might sound a bit confusing, but as soon as we dive into the code, you'll understand what we're doing. So let's do just that. We're going to go into loops, and we're going to find this for loop, which is a third option here. We're going to drag it over, and we're going to also pick up a forever block and just put that around. So what this does is it's going to count from the index from 0 to 4. So let's just do a quick demo here. So let's show number, and let's show number index. So that index is already created for us whenever we initialize this. So now what this is going to do is it's going to count up 1 2 3 4 0 1 2 3 4. So what it's doing is it's basically counting every time it loops. Every time the loop runs through one entire time, the index variable, which is over here, will go up by 1 increment automatically. So it'll just go up from 0 to 4. So the first time it runs will be 0, but as soon as it finishes running the code at this part right here, it'll add 1 to the index. So it'll become 1, then it'll run again, it'll become 2, then it'll run again, 3, and then 4. And it'll only run up to 4 times. And every time we're showing the number index on the screen. So as you can see, every time we run through, we get the number as to how many times the code has been run. So this is quite useful for more advanced code, as we'll cover in future projects and the modules that are going to come up next. So we'll modify this code slightly. So what we'll do is every time we press the button A, our index will change by 1. Or actually, a counter will change by 1, right? So we're going to create a variable called a counter variable. I've already created it, but what we're going to do is we're going to drop this variable here. So every time we start, and we're just going to do a basic, on start, and we're going to set our variable on the start to 2. Again, you can change this to what you want. So what it'll do is basically on the start, it'll set this counter variable to the number 2, and what that will do is basically every time our for loop will show the number from 0, which is the index, from 0 to a counter variable, which is initially set to 2. So the behavior of our code will be here. We'll just use a simulator on the side. This is going to count up to 2 and then reset 0 1 2 0 1 2, and that's the same. That's just because we have initialized our counter variable to 2 here, and we're counting from 0 to that counter variable, which is 2. But now we also have added this on button A press, change counter by 1. So that means add 1 to the number that our for loop is counting up to. So in this case, when we do this, it's going to count 0 1 2, but I press the button A and it's counting up to 3 now. 0 1 2 3. Press the number A again. 0 1 2 3 4. 0 1 2 3 4. Once more, 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so that's great. So for loops, that's what indexes are within for loops. So indexes basically give you a number as to how many times a for loop has been run. Another really cool thing with for loops is you can, unlike traditional while loops and unlike forever loops, so I'm just going to drag those for examples. Forever loops will run forever, indefinitely, right? And while loops will run as many times needed, as per some condition set. But what if the condition usually when we do robotics-based programming, a while loop will run with a sensor. So while the temperature of the room is above a certain threshold, run the AC. Or like in the case of a brightness sensor, while the room is dark, turn on the light, right? So as soon as the room becomes bright, the light turns off. So this is usually set to sensors. But what if you want to run a command a certain number of times, like maybe 5 times, 6 times, a tangible integer amount that doesn't change? Because a while loop can change, right? A while loop will only exit once the condition is broken, but a for loop will run for a preset number of times every single time.